Hey guys, and welcome back to Nostalgia and Nonsense. In this week's episode, we're going to dive into an unexpected, tragic tale that made me cry as a child. It was my first experience of grief. That's right, we're talking about those tiny creatures that I eagerly nurtured, only for them to turn into a sad, depressing tale. But that's not all, because we'll also be taking a trip back to the early 2000s to revisit the beloved shops that have long since closed their doors, the places that once brought me joy, and now their absence has left a void in my heart. So grab your shopping bags while we stroll through the aisles of nostalgia. And you can also check the show notes to join my internet island for bonus content, behind the scenes, sneak peeks, and a whole lot more. Alright, it's that time of the week. Let's hit rewind. First of all, let's talk about sea monkeys. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s or the early 2000s, you'll probably know what sea monkeys are. In the 80s, I believe they used to be advertised in the back of comic books. So you would do like a mail order form and you'd fill out of what sea monkeys you want and they'll send them to you in the post. But for me in the early 2000s, I got them at my local Big W, went down there and grabbed some sea monkeys, and it was just so cool. They were basically these little magical pets that would hatch and grow right in front of your eyes. And what exactly are they, you ask? Well, I'm actually obsessed with sea monkeys still to this day. So I've done my research, but basically they are a type of brine shrimp that has been made in like a lab in New York. So I think the lab is called like New York Science something lab. I forget exactly what the acronym is. But if you look on the back of your sea monkeys, you will see on there that the lab that they were made in New York. So these tiny crustaceans are known for their ability to go dormant in the harsh conditions, and then they can come back to life when the conditions improve. So that's basically why you can buy a pack of dried sea monkey eggs, and after you add water, they hatch and come to life. And also, the wife of the curator of sea monkeys, she actually, they had like a factory in like China that was making the sea monkey tanks, and then the New York Ocean Science Lab, they would make the brine shrimp. But along the way, the company in China actually just also started making brine shrimp and then selling them as sea monkeys. So there was a whole lot of money that the creator lost out on. So the wife has only recently, in the last few years, like kind of took back the brand and took ownership of it again. And basically, I think they might have sued the company in China, but now you'll notice on the packets of sea monkeys, it says the original sea monkeys on the packets. If you ever look at them, you can get sea monkeys in Kmart in Australia. If you're listening from the US, then you're probably wondering what the heck is Kmart. They're different, but yeah, we have Kmart in Australia still, and that's where I usually get my sea monkeys. And I have like a few tanks. I have like a pink one, a purple tank. I have a few tanks, but when I was a kid, I had the Mars tank, which they still sell today. And I just remember getting it on Christmas. I was just like super, super excited. And like it was just a magical science experiments that you get to watch right in front of your eyes. Now, I still remember the day that I got to hatch my very first sea monkeys. There's basically 3 different packets that comes with it. The first one is the water purifier. So you put the water purifier in. I think you have to wait 48 hours or so. And then you can put the eggs in. And then you can like watch the little tiny sea monkeys hatch. And it's just so cute and such a cool experience. Like, I think it's just like such a genius toy to sell. And it just feels like magic. And I'm obsessed with magic. So, like, I think I was one of those kids that would be like, Mom, I want like a magic set for Christmas, like a new magic set, please. And like, I just thought magic tricks were so cool. And oh my God, the TV show Breaking the Magician's Code, like watching that on like a Monday night on Channel 7 or whatever it was. Oh, it was so cool. And it's actually pretty crazy, like thinking about how many magic tricks they exposed on there. Like for me, some people are like, oh, like I don't want to know how it's done. Like it would just ruin the magic. But to me, like I find it even more fascinating after I know how it's done sometimes. I guess like sometimes I see magic tricks lately and I'm like, girl, I know how that's done. I know how you saw them in half. I know how you make them disappear. Like I'm looking out for everything because Breaking the Magician's Code on Channel 7, that dude in the mask that would tell you how all the magic tricks are done, like he exposed them to me. And yeah, I thought I was going to be like a famous magician or a clown at the circus or I don't know. But here I am making a freaking podcast. So that's how my life went. Anyway, back to sea monkeys. I remember they were hatched, they were thriving, they were so beautiful. And I think I had them in my bedroom, but then sometimes I'd put them in the bathroom. I don't know why, but it was kind of just a vibe sitting them in the bathroom and being able to like watch them when I'm in the shower. I don't know, like when I'm brushing my teeth, like, oh, look at my sea monkeys when I'm brushing my teeth. So it was pretty much a vibe. Sea monkeys were my life. And one particular weekend, my dad decided that he was going to do some house cleaning and, like spray like some pest control stuff to get like the ants to not come in the bathroom, like just things like that. And basically, I left my house, I came back home, and my sea monkeys were no more. My sea monkeys had been frickin' poisoned. They were dead. That was the end of my sea monkeys. And I still think about them every day. And I tried to replace them. I brought so many other tanks, but it still feels like that these sea monkeys were special. They were my first sea monkeys. And I didn't kill them out of not looking after them personally. Someone else killed them, technically speaking. So, yeah, that was the day that my sea monkeys RIP'd. And I think I just left them sitting dead in the tank for like a few weeks after that. So I would just brush my teeth every morning and look at my dead sea monkeys. That's how to start my day. Yeah, Tyler, time to go to school. No worries, just brush my teeth and watch my dead sea monkeys. And that was my first experience of grief. Was dead sea monkeys. They're so magic, but they're not magical enough to stay alive. Okay, we need to talk about shops that give me the feels, that bring back memories. Those stores in Australia that closed down and left us and left a void in our hearts. Let's chat about them. One of the first ones that come to mind for me is Bilo. You know, the red and yellow logo. It had that cook dude, I think his name's Huey, and he would be in a lot of the ads and like, giving you savings ideas and recipes. Like he was a legend. Bilo was where you would go to get your groceries, and they had like their own like home brand version. It was just like such a friggin' vibe. And now if you go to Bilo, the Bilo website, you're actually redirected to the Coles website. Fun fact. So if you're bored right now, you can go to bilo.com.au and it will just take you to the Coles website. I think a lot of the Bilo stores were either closed down or turned into a Foodworks or turned into a Coles store. Bilo was actually one of the first stores in Australia to bring in like the scanning technology. So like before people would scan your groceries at the checkout, they didn't have a little scan. So Bilo was one of the first stores to do that. They had like the tagline that was like extra value for you. That was between like 1999 and 2003. And then the tagline that I remember, it was between 2000 and 2005. And the tagline was, why pay more? Why pay more? They also had like this dude that would go around and interview people in the shops, kind of like those dudes do on TikTok now, where they're just going around Westfield and interviewing like teenagers. You know those TikTokers? Well, Bilo actually did that with their shoppers, and we basically just asked them, like, why do you shop at Bilo? Things like that. Then they had a mascot. So they had like some dude in a costume, and it was like the Bilo docket. The word docket, like, surely that's just an Australian word, right? I barely hear anyone say docket. Oh, here's your docket. Do you want a docket? Everyone just says receipt. Do you want a receipt? But docket used to be like the word that you'd say. Here's your docket. Does anyone still call it docket? Like, I know there's probably a few older people that still call it docket, but I don't think people now ever call it docket. It's only every now and then when I'm at like Woolies and the lady serves me, she's like, yeah, do you want a docket? Actually, not even at Woolies. Like At like an IGA, yeah, that's when someone would ask me if I want a docket. Like some older lady, usually, she would be like, "Did you want your docket?" That's like literally the only time that I ever hear docket anymore. Let me know if you know anyone that still says docket or like if you still use the word docket. So they had a docket mascot which replaced Huey, the chef cooking dude, and the tagline for Big W then was, "It's the total of the docket that counts." And yeah, that's when around then, in 2003, is when they started that campaign with, "Why do you shop at Buy Low? Why do you shop at Buy Low? Why do you shop at Buy Low?" They'd literally like go around and people just be trying to do their bloody shopping. "Why do you shop at Buy Low?" Shoving microphones in their face. Oh, Bilo, I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. Another shopping place that was a vibe when I was a kid was the Warehouse. It was like that big red store, the Warehouse. It was like red and yellow as well, I think. And basically they sold everything. I think they still have the Warehouse in New Zealand, but it was like a shop where I would go into the craft section. I look at the canvases and the paint and the beads. Because, guys, Taylor Swift girlies, we were into beading before Taylor Swift. Like, we used to make beaded bracelets in the 2000s. Even probably before that, people did. But the Warehouse, their slogan was where everyone gets a bargain. And yeah, I'd get my canvases and my looking at the craft section. It was just a huge aisle of craft materials. And then my mum would be on like the other side of the store, and then she'd come and pick me up in the craft section later on. And usually I'd get to take something home. She'd actually always buy me something at the Warehouse because everything was just so cheap, but like so much stuff. Like it was basically, as the name suggests, it was like a huge warehouse. Also, going to the Warehouse at Christmas time, oh, it's a vibe. Like so many Christmas decorations in there. Like that's where we would get our Christmas baubles, and oh, it was just so fun. And after Christmas, they'd always have heaps of stock still left over. So you would get like things on clearance after Christmas, after the Christmas sales, and you could use them for the year after. So savvy. It's basically like the reject shop, actually, but like a huge reject shop and like probably cheaper and like way more range of stuff. Like picture that, the reject shop, but like on a warehouse level. It's so freaking iconic. I wish they could bring it back to Australia. I don't think there's any other stores in Australia anymore. Maybe I should just go to New Zealand just so I can go to the warehouse. Is that crazy? Chaotic? So if you guys are from New Zealand and listening to this, like let me know. Do you have the warehouse near you? Take a picture of it. Like does the logo still look the same? Like, I'd be so keen and interested to know. In the year 2007, they actually had their 25th anniversary and they decided to mark the occasion by releasing 13,000 balloons into the air. Oh no, that's so crazy. So obviously a big stir with environmentalists at that time because I know it's your 25th anniversary of your company, but 13,000 balloons isn't necessary. Is it really needed? Another thing that I always would get from the warehouse is they had these silver microphones that were like super crap, but it was like a microphone. You could plug it into your karaoke machine and they were $7. So pretty much every time we went to the warehouse, I'd be buying a new microphone. Not good for the environment, but they were so crap that they would break and the tops of them would fall off and they were just the cables were so crap so they just stopped working, but they were $7 so you could just go buy another one. And obviously that's not good for landfill thinking about it now, but yeah, the amount of $7 silver microphones from the warehouse I had was wild. And they also had the CDs section as well, so that's where you'd buy those like CDs that you could put in the DVD player and it would show you like the karaoke lyrics. And those karaoke DVDs of like, how they have the karaoke DVDs. I think they're Australian, and they would have like just some girl walking along the beach, walking through a park and stuff like that. But the lyrics would show up on screen. Please tell me you've played a karaoke DVD before. Karaoke DVDs. Oh, I'm just Googling them now. Hits of the 90s, high quality interactive DVD. I want to get a collection of these. How much are they? $15? That's more expensive than they were when they were at the warehouse. Oh my god, karaoke DVDs bundle. 19 disc for $50. Hits of the 90s, hits of the 70s, school disco, school reunion, country party. Oh, pubcore karaoke. Surely these are Australian. Elton John classics. Oh, this is so good. Madonna. You can get the Madonna one. Oh, should I buy this? It's $50 for 19 DVDs. That's all right. If you ever played a karaoke DVD and just remember like these, like this chick walking along a beach when the lyrics would come on the screen, please let me know. I don't want it to be a false memory. Oh, guys, I just remembered. Do you remember when the warehouse turned into Sam's Warehouse? Sam's Warehouse. That's what they changed the name to of the warehouse, I think. Another store that I think was a vibe was Crazy Clark's. That was a store that was kind of like the reject shop as well, but a lot smaller. And I think it had different names in different places. So in Queensland, where I grew up, it was Crazy Clark's. And it still exists today, but like not as a like $2 shop. But the dude that owned it, for some reason, he's made a car rental company in Brisbane. So if you want to go to Crazy Clark's car rentals in Brisbane, that exist, and you can get a car with the big Crazy Clark's logo on the side of it. There was also Clint's Crazy Bargains, if you remember that. That's another similar one to Crazy Clark's. Basically, Clint's Crazy Bargains. I think that one was maybe more of a New South Wales kind of dealer store. And they also had Fair Dinkum Bargains, and someone surely remembers Silly Sollies. Silly Sollies. Oh my god, does Silly Sollies still exist? Guys, Silly Sollies still exist. I want to go there. It's in the Sunshine Coast, and they also have an online website. Nothing over $5. That's so good. Oh, I just feel like they have so much junk on there. Like, how do people get stuff for this like Silly Sollies and $2 shops now? Is it just all ordered from Temu? Ah. There's also Chicken Feed. I remember Chicken Feed. But to me, Chicken Feed kind of just looked like it was where you'd go to get a roast chook. Like, don't you think that Chicken Feed, it sounds like you should be going there to either buy Chicken Feed or to buy a roast chook. But really, you're going there, it's another discount retail store. And this one was founded in the 90s in Tasmania. It had 44 stores across Tasmania, Victoria, and New South Wales. Oh, there's also Golo. If anyone remembers Golo, I'm pretty sure in my town they still have like, you can kind of still see where Golo existed, and you can see like the faint painting of the sign on the wall. But Golo was another similar like discount store. No wonder the cost of living's gone up. All these discount stores have closed down. Oh, Dick Smith. Dick Smith was so cool to go to, actually. It was fun. It had so much technology stuff, but like I was a kid, so I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like here. It's basically like the JB Hi-Fi before JB Hi-Fi was Dick Smith. Dick Smith. Oh my god, do you guys remember Trade Secret as well? Trade Secret is TK Maxx, right? I'm pretty sure it's just TK Maxx, but it's been like rebranded or taken over or something by another company. Oh, Video Easy, Video City, Civic Video, Blockbuster. Oh, those video stores. They're sad. Please come back. I miss you guys. I would literally go and rent a DVD though if it did come back. But how often would I? I don't know. It would be just more fun. I feel like watching movies now is too many options. It's too overwhelming. Where like if I went and rented a DVD, I would just choose one that I wanted. And then I've got no choice but to try to enjoy it because I've just paid for it, really. And it's more exciting, like having a physical copy of a DVD and bringing it home and getting ready. Like it's a full process to it. It's not just press a button, put it on. If you don't like it, don't worry because you can just get out of it. Like I just feel like I would commit more and enjoy movies more if I rented them rather than the overwhelming amount of movies and TV shows. Which, yeah, there's a lot of them, but are they all high quality? No, not really. On like streaming services. So I do miss video stores. Okay, the last store like still exists, but in my mind, like there's not really many stores at all, and it was just like a big part of my childhood. But it was called Dimmy's, which is also it was kind of like a discount store, but it was more like they would sell like towels and pajamas and tea towels. But the weird thing about it is like I don't know if it was legal because they'd have like Mickey Mouse and like The Simpsons and Spider Man and Bob the Builder and Pooh Bear. Like they had those kind of licensed characters, but they would be like really poorly drawn. Kind of like if you go to like a dodgy market, or if you've been in Sydney and you went to the market. I forget what they call it, but you know the markets in Chinatown, like those markets underneath the shopping center there. Sometimes they have like dodgy licensed characters like Frozen, and like Elsa and Anna, and like Paw Patrol tea towels, like that kind of vibe that they have now at those places. That's what Dimmy's used to sell. It was like this big kind of like red logo. But the cool thing about Dimmy's is a lot of their stores were in like super old buildings because they're such an old like company. I think they were started in like the 1850s. So they're such an old company, and most of their stores were still in old buildings from like the 1850s or like from years ago. So they'd have like the big clock tower and like super nice buildings, but they smelt like mold inside, and their floors were like caving in with their moldy carpet. But it was such a vibe. So cheap as well. Get like dollar tea towels and like face towels and pillows. Like it's just so much stuff. And I don't know why, but it probably shouldn't have been like a fun shop for me as a kid because it's like tea towels and stuff, but it actually was. So yeah, I do miss going to Dimmy's, and there is a few stores around still. So if you are in Australia and you have a Dimmy's near you still, then let me know. Anyway, guys, I want to know if you remember any stores that have closed down, that have left a big hole in your heart, and you just feel like they should come back. Let me know. You can send me a DM over on Instagram, a cheeky voice note, or leave a comment down in the Patreon community on my internet island. The link is in the show notes if you want to check on there. But yeah, so sad that these stores are no longer around, but they'll always hold a special place in my heart. No wonder there's the bloody cost of living, though. Seriously. We need some discount stores more, please. Thank you. And that's a wrap on another week of the Nostalgia and Nonsense podcast. Thanks so much for joining me once again. Next week, we're going to be talking about something that makes me want to vomit in my mouth. Just thinking about it already makes me want to vomit. So check back next week on Tuesday to find out what weird thing makes me want to vomit. That probably shouldn't make me want to vomit, but it's just like a weird ick that, ugh. You can also get your digital citizenship to my internet island in the link in the show notes. Basically, it's an exclusive community with extra content, polls, bonus episodes, sneak peeks, tons of nostalgia chat, and a whole lot more. So check the show notes if you want to join the island. Come hang out with us. Until next week, you can check out the Bilo website and watch it redirect to Coles. And make sure you keep your sea monkeys alive. See you next week.